you look at the OC, you look at how they're implementing you can see why they're frustrated there, even though they're 5-3. So let's watch some tape. I'll put this all the way back here. As we learned last time, I got to take this off. Here we go. So they're trying to get the ball out early. They run these tunnel screens. And again, I think, for me, Najee Harris is a good player, and I think he does really well in between the tackles. This Jalen Warren kid, he can scoot. He's got a little wiggle to him. I think he's good in open space. And they just want to find ways to get him the ball. And I think the more they can get Kenny Pickett making pre-snap decisions and getting rid of the ball early, I think we've said this before about another quarterback, the better off they're going to feel. They just don't do it enough. The other problem is there's just small windows in their play. And when I say small windows, I mean when we start throwing the ball and you see the tight end gets rerouted here. I'll go back. Tight end gets rerouted, but everything's always so close. You got so many guys playing next to each other. And again, it's a huge field, and they just don't. It doesn't seem like they do a great job of using space. Regardless of whether you complete the pass or not, you have to give young quarterbacks windows to throw in, and you don't want to condense the window, and you don't want to add people. And so, from a Packers standpoint, can we reroute? Can we, especially at the tight end and running back position, who get out and kind of run the underneath stuff that pull defenders away? Can we make sure that those guys get out late? Can we give our linebackers a reason to get their depth in their drops? Those are because he wants to force the ball downfield. He's not one of those kids that necessarily just going to take what he can get. Come across here, so we got a 2x2 with two tight ends in the game. Up top, we go under center play action, and you just look at the routes here. And on the 34-yard line, that sail route has to get under the defender, or you're going to push that defender up top. So if you don't get underneath that guy and cross his face in this situation, one, you're never going to be open. And two, you're just running into the other guy's real estate. And so what happens here, again, it's not clean for Pickett. It's just not clean looks. Now we go return motion here. And so we got the twins up top. Excuse me, I guess we have trips over there with the tight end. But you see, I mean, if they're running stick nods or they're just running, the bang eights here, like, I don't understand how they're teaching this in their wide receiver room but that's a tough window, guys. I don't know if Mahomes is throwing it over there. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And if you just look at this picture right now, they don't have a lot of people open. You have to wait for the check down, and he's not going to wait for the check down. Like, their pass protection isn't that good, right? And they're playing against Jeffrey Simmons and company here, obviously. So you got some issues there. But this kid isn't like check down central. Like, he's going to throw the ball into, and he wants to find Pickens. He wants to find Deontay Johnson. He'll throw it to the tight ends, but that's tough. They're making this game difficult for Kenny Pickett. Now, when they give the kid an opportunity to be successful, he can throw it. And so if we're going to play that soft zone, we're going to play the guy underneath. Like, they're running two down here on the bottom. And this kid just runs the out, the deep out. I mean, that's a good route against one-on-one against a safety who's got a drop, and you got issues. The underneath defender has to stick with the flat, and they've got guys that can play. Now, we talk about play speed. I'm really talking about for the quarterback here. They ran essentially the same play. One's under center, one's out of shotgun, but you're running a keep pass here. And what they're going to do is they're going to keep the tight end on the bottom of the screen in and block that defensive end so he's not on the quarterback's face immediately, which is interesting because now you have to figure out how everything else works from a timing standpoint. And what you'll see here is the way that the tight end comes across and inserts, instead of running downfield because of the way that wide receiver blocks the defensive end, he has to insert now and kind of get underneath and then back out flat. And the reason that matters is because there's not an immediate throw as soon as Kenny Pickett gets out of his turn. Now, once you give the shotgun fake, and the timing's all messed up because it's not under center anyways, but once you give the shotgun and the fake, you go like he wants to give the ball should be gone now. And that guy hasn't cleared yet. And so everything gets a little bit convoluted. And this is the kind of stuff we're talking about as far as let's make sure as Packers, defensive ends, outside linebackers, anybody, safeties, make sure that you're rerouting the guys at the line of scrimmage because it really screws this team up. Now, they changed it up. They're still blocking the defensive end with wide receiver here. But now that tight end's out immediately, ball's gone before he even, as he hits the hash. Same thought process as far as you're still running a flood route to the, this is like high school, keep pass right flood. But now you can get the ball out immediately and you're having positive yards. So the more you can affect those guys, the better off you're going to be. I don't know I think this is Pickens on the bottom, and I don't know if he's running the wrong route, but they've got trips up top. And somebody's got to hold the backside safety here, and he looks confused. And I don't know if he's just hesitating because this happens a number of times in the game. He looks like, okay, what are you waiting for? He's kind of hesitating. He decides to run a shallow under, but nobody hooks up on that backside safety now. And what they've done is, if this is what they're trying to do, they've flooded a half of the field with 5 receivers, which I think when I say it out loud doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But you got on the 12-yard line in the middle of the field on the hash, you got the run for the love of the game route, okay? Because he's supposed to take that defender away, and he's supposed to be making that play side safety worry about crossing his face, okay? But because there's nobody on the backside receiver, like in other words, the safety at the 10-yard line on the top has to make a decision. Because he's going to throw into that window, or is he going to throw the seam? He should be doing it off that safety. The problem is the backside catches up because they've got nobody home. And again, I don't know if it's a play call or just somebody's running the wrong route, but they're having a real hard time. And this kid Pickett is, he's throwing the check down here. Good for him, but it's tough. And then the other thing is, and this happened early in the game, easy throw here. This guy's got room to run for days. He just misses some throws. You got Calvin Austin, who's a little bit of a speedster in the inside slot. On the trip side, they're running cover 2. This is old Tampa 2 where the Mike linebacker's trying to run with him. There's no chance. But back that up a little bit, guys. Sorry about that. No chance, but he just underthrows him. Like, you're missing throws. These are touchdowns. These are touchdowns or 50-yard plays. Just not happening the way he wants. Now, out here, they got the screen game going. Should they call it? It's an option. The line is running a run play. It's an RPO. They decide to run it. It's always like, how much power do you put in the hands of the quarterback? Well, in this case, you got to, he's old enough now, second-year guy. He's been in the offense. But you look at the wide receiver, he doesn't know who to block. Allen Robinson's out there like, who's on first, man? Both these guys are going to make the play. So he's kind of pump faking. He's screwed either way. So there's a little bit of miscommunication as far as what the responsibilities are. It's tough to say. Now, I love the trenches. I love running the football, and I am here for them running gap. So look at this lineup. You got Isaac Seumalo playing left guard. Broderick Jones, the big Georgia tackle, stud, going to be a stud, right tackle. And then the big fella, Darnell Washington, playing tight end. So you got a gap scheme here where Washington can glove up the outside linebacker. I mean, look at the size of that guy. You got Seumalo pulling. Look at the strike. Look at the dip and strike by 73 here, man. I know it's the Steelers, but I just love that. That's just all kinds of good. They're going to run the double. So Isaac's coming in. And listen, this is what good technique looks like. You always talk about the Packers, why they're struggling. Look at the footwork here, getting up to the second level on the beat. And this is against, I think this is against Jeffrey Simmons, who's, arguably top 2 defensive tackle, top 3 defensive tackle in the league over the last 3 years. Just good footwork, staying square, getting up to the second level, driving square on the linebacker, making him try to play over the top, getting Najee Harris a big run. Big time play here. We talk about it. I'm just kind of showing you some stuff, and we talk about the Packers, but by watching the Steelers, they make a call. They see that these guys are going to run a slant. So Broderick Jones, rookie tackle, instead of running through, shuffles and waits, picks him up. Connor Hayward comes around, blocks the mic on the backside, not the mic, the linebacker on the backside. And they bump this thing out the back. Great play call. Does not work if you don't make an at-the-line adjustment, right? At-the-line adjustment, communication from the center of the quarterback, and everybody knows what their responsibilities are. Now, they ran this. They have a type. They ran this play ad nauseam. Man, they just kept running this inside trap kind of wham block look. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. They saw something from a penetration standpoint with the Tennessee Titans. They love running that play. Deontay Johnson got off late in this game. Don't forget about him. He's kind of been silent, especially from the touchdown perspective over the last couple of years, but he's got talent. They have talent. The point is, in this game, they have talent. Now, we talk about playmakers making plays. Deontay Johnson catches the deep ball. Connor Hayward, son of Craig Ironhead Hayward, brother of Cam Hayward, one of the best D tackles in the last 10 years. He does it a little bit different, right? Two of the most physical players at their position, his family. Connor's taking a different approach. Gotta love it. He's just going to get absolutely manhandled by this defensive end. And then Jaylen Warren's going to say, thank you very much. I'll just take this thing outside 30 yards. Beautiful play. And then Deontay Johnson, his first touchdown on a little rub. And the only reason I'm bringing this up, they got Allen Robinson, they got George Pickens, they got Deontay Johnson, they got Connor Hayward, they got Jaylen Warren, they got Najee Harris, they got the big fella, Darnell Washington. It's a question of calling the right plays for this quarterback, everybody being on the same page. It's a mirror image of what we talk about with Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. Right plays, processing, right? The guy, they can make the throws. They have the talent on the outside. There's too many times in the Steelers, when you watch them, if you want to play man, if you want to get up in their face, there's too many times where they make mental errors or have inconsistencies in their detail. And you have to figure out a way to maximize that if you're the Green Bay Packers. My opinion. They are a physical team up front. They're in a physical division. That's probably the toughest division in football right now, as far as you're gonna know who you played. You think that we have Kenny Clark being, you think that we have a good matchup up front. The secondary, what ends up happening in games like this, if they have it close, then a Pickens makes a play when you go to press man. They throw the ball up and it's players making plays. So what you need to do in a game like this is you have to be consistent on offense. Listen, this is a 45-55 split offensive defense time of possession. Their defense is on the field a lot. That's why their numbers aren't as good as they should be. But offensively with this team, talking about the Steelers offense, the more that you get on them at the line of scrimmage, the more that you force Kenny Pickens to have to play off schedule because the first look isn't open because the timing is not right on the routes, that's when things get kind of sideways for them. And so that's, for me, the way to really get after this team. They're only scoring 16.5 points a game anyways.